Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I want to talk about and read for the current energies. It's really interesting because last week, I was feeling this huge shift, this huge jump that a lot of us were making, okay, out of the old energy into the new, and there was a lot of turbulence on the transition, a lot of turbulence on the transition. I was really fired up, and then things really settled for me. It was kind of like the gears clicked into place, which is what I was feeling would happen. And it's interesting because a friend of mine really related to that reading, and he wrote to me some of his reflections on it. And one of the things that he had said, he was drawing this analogy of like these discs that I need to talk with him in person because I wasn't quite catching. I was getting the energy, but wasn't quite catching his analogy. But I thought of it as like chakras or like our electrons, or like there's a spin that starts to spin so fast. And he said the only thing you can do is to fervently pray. And so that's sort of what it felt like to me, where it was just like, it was such a there was so much spinning. And it's interesting because I did a session with my daughter last night, and there was a lot of spinning going on. There was this electricity and spinning and a lot clearing off. And so again, that spin, but anyway, where it takes it back to that reading before, where it's like leaning into the soul, because it's like this is the territory of the soul knows how to do this. The programming, the linear, the world does not. Okay, so for me it really clicked in with that, where there was just so much higher self-guidance, where I felt like so directed, like I knew exactly what to do, I knew who to meet with, I knew where to go, and there were all these synchronicities and all these sort of creative inspirations that came through that I took action on. So there were all these things in action, like the higher timeline has been stepped upon. Okay. But then what's really interesting is this weekend. So I don't sleep well. I'm often up in the middle of the night. I get a lot of like downloads and like, information in, and I'm often just like buzzing where like I can't sleep, but it doesn't really affect me because, I go to bed early, and then I could be up for an hour or two or three, and then I just sleep. I always get enough sleep, and it always works out. But lately, the last 2 nights, I've been sleeping like 9, 10, 11 hours straight, and then really exhausted all day long. Really, really exhausted. The other thing, and I've heard other people talking about this too, is extreme hunger. Like I've just been ravenous. Like as soon as I finish a meal, I'm like, okay, what am I going to eat now? And my son and my daughter were the same way all weekend. I felt like all I did was like make food and eat food and clean up food, and then somebody was hungry again, and so I was reading on different things that I was seeing where other people were going through that same thing with the fatigue and the hunger and some like anxiety, and just I went into my daughter's room this morning. It was 11:30, and she was still sleeping in bed. What time is it? So anyway, which is interesting. There's not solar activity going on right now. There is. I heard stuff with the Schumann resonance, and the Schumann resonance I never really connected with in sort of like a gnosis type of way. Like the solar activity, I've had dream intel, I've had like personal experience with, and information, intuition, and gnosis. But the Schumann resonance, just I never really connected with it. It's never really like made itself apparent to me. But yeah, so supposedly there's some of that going on. But what I feel it is, and so I had psychic attack last night. I had dream interference, and I was basically trying to get somewhere, and something was stopping me. Okay, so there's the symbolism. Then I woke up. I did wake up briefly last night, and the room was filled with weird energy. So I had to clear it out and reclaim my space because I could feel my thoughts had been infiltrated, and it's like I had to like really direct it the way I wanted it to go, and not be sucked into sort of this like the negative song that was being sung into my ear when I was like really laid out and vulnerable. And so anyway, it's like there was a huge shift of light, because if there's a group of people jumping into higher frequency, then it affects the whole planet. It affects the higher consciousness, because like we were saying last time, it's like one person in alignment with source consciousness is it's pretty powerful. So you get a group of people on that wave doing that, it shifts things. Okay, so if there's going to be an influx of light, there's going to be an influx of the opposite polarity, because we're in the world of duality. So people can be like, oh, the controllers, they're trying to stop this. They're trying to stop this influx of light, and so there's a kickback. You can almost expect that whenever there's a big shift. You can expect something to happen that tries to lower the vibration, and that is true. It is a spiritual war, but at the same time, it's like, this is the world of duality, so it's just how it is, and there's perfection in that. There's perfection in that dance, and so rather than letting it polarize us into feeling like a victim or feeling it is a battle. I mean, it is a battle. It's not like I just let the energies and the entities last night just like take over my mind. It was like, no, get out, and then you do the repair, and then you reorient yourself. We're aware of this. We're aware of what's going on, and we take action, but there doesn't have to be any resentment or feeling of victim or anger. It can be like, oh, right, this is the game down here. This is the game, and I know how to play it, and I am playing it because we're playing it because that's just how it goes. That's how it goes. We weave the polarities together. Radical acceptance. Everything's in service to the light. So it's like the air. We wouldn't come into that greatest expansion of light and creation, what's possible, if there wasn't a catalyst from the opposite polarity. So the gratitude for it, even is really important. So that's what I'm feeling. There was a big move, and then there was a bit of a kickback. But yeah, a lot of us. But also, an integration, because watching all the birds fly over right now in this moment, but the integration I was saying, because when we expand into greater expansion, greater light, higher frequency, the point is not just to disassociate and go out into it. The point is to integrate it into the body. So a lot of the times the denser energies or the things that bring us back into our bodies, or a lot of sleeping or a lot of eating, it's integrating that energy here onto the earth in our bodies, and that being really important too. And sometimes those triggers or attacks, whether they're coming from outer people in our world or whether they're coming from energies or entities around us, are really important because they help us to integrate it and to hold it more in our body. So again, the perfection of everything, and also an indicator that there are big moves. It's just another indicator from the opposite polarity that there are big moves happening right now for humanity. And Pluto is about to move into Aquarius in 5 days. I'm filming this on the 15th. Mercury is the next day, goes out of its shadow retrograde, and then on the 27th, a week later, all the planets will be in forward motion until the beginning of April, I believe, the beginning or sometime in April. So even in the astrology, it's showing this. So all right, so I'm going to dive into the cards here. I talked for 7 minutes, okay, and see what they might want to say, if they want to validate any of that or take us in a completely different direction. Overall energy for right now, right in the middle of January. Okay, so we get 2 cards. Okay, well, that's interesting. Electric eel spirit. So I was talking about all that electricity, that electric energy that's like the Uranus energy. I don't know what Uranus is doing right now, but that higher self, that higher frequency energy coming in, bring your ideas to life. So that's what I was talking about last week when I was having all this creative inspiration, brought it forward, so it's like my trajectory has changed. I'm doing offerings, things from this inspiration, from this higher self guidance that is now going to ripple out, and that kind of thing, right? Bring your ideas to life. Okay, electric eel spirit, and vulture spirit. Nothing is wasted. Okay, so that's kind of what, that's a 63 card, 369 actually. And this is a 24, a 6 card. Okay, so here's the bringing it down, bringing that higher frequency, that electric energy down onto the earth, taking action, bringing it to life, and nothing is wasted. So this kind of reminds me of what I was talking about with the attacks, or the darker, the negative polarity. It's like it's not an aberration. It's not something that's in the way. It's not something that we're victims of. It gets composted into us. It gets composted and brings us more into this, into being able to receive this electric energy of our higher selves out onto the earth plane, because it crunches us. It makes us call forth our space. Like last night, I had to, like in my dream, I was screaming. I was in my car, and I always think of my car as like my Merkaba, like how we move forward, how our astral bodies or whatever. I don't really understand it actually, but for me, it feels like movement, right? Like soul movement, expansion. And so I was in my car, and I was getting onto I-10 on the way to Las Cruces, which is interesting because in Las Cruces yesterday, along with a lot of the rest of southern New Mexico, there were those what are they called? Lentric. I can't remember. I just learned about these clouds, but they're very rare and they look like spaceships. Okay, so a lot of people do talk about that, like hiding in plain sight. Is that what's going on? I don't know, but I'm certainly open to that, right? So there was this huge one right over the Organ Mountains in Las Cruces, and then there was one where I was. There was no other cloud in the sky, but there were like these pillars, these like pancake spaceship clouds in the sky, and then you see all these other, they were over the Sandias, they were, which is near Albuquerque, and so all these other, all over the place, you know. And so in my dream last night, I was actually going to Las Cruces, which is interesting because I never go to Las Cruces, and I hate that highway. So I was trying, there's a short stretch, you know, this short on ramp onto the highway, and you have to go really fast, and my car wouldn't pick up speed. It wouldn't pick up speed. It was just stalling. It just wouldn't pick up speed. And I was so mad because I knew in the dream that like there was some energy that was like halting it. It was halting the movement, and I was screaming. I was screaming in the dream. I was like claiming what, you know, and I woke myself up. You know, I woke myself up with my primal scream where it was just like, no, you know, like you're not stopping me. Nothing is stopping me, you know. And so then, you know, I had to clear the space and clear the space. Okay. But in doing that, I really claimed my power and my right to choose my reality and my right to be in alignment and to move forward with what's coming through for me. So again, nothing is wasted because that brought out that power, that primal, that claiming of my sovereignty, that brought me forward even more. So again, everything's in service of the light. Okay. Everything. So let's move into the tarot. See what else. Six of Cups. Okay, Six of Cups. So we were getting this last time, or one, I guess it was the one about the soul, where it's like the Six of Cups being that sort of Akashic record, you know, those memories. It's often a card of nostalgia, but it's also a card of kind of like leaning into what's possible, and that's how it's been presenting for me lately. Just 2 readings ago, it came up twice, and that's how it was. That's how it was reading. But again, like leaning in, you know, leaning in and listening to that. She's sitting here in the water, you know, there's that psychic terrain, that access that we have, you know, that runs straight down the middle of us. She's between these 2 rocks, just nestled in, like right in her channel, listening to the depths of herself. You know, here's the electric eel in the water as well, you know, listening and tuning into that and not letting anything else come along and distract you or tell or confuse you or sing the old story that makes you lose touch with this listening. Like again, like my friend said, you know, just like fervent prayer, you know, constant communion, constant listening, because there's so much that wants to come through to help you establish and stabilize on your higher timeline. And there's also a lot of distractions and interference right now. So again, fervent prayer, not only to stay connected so you don't get distracted, but also because it's intense. You know, it's an intense electric spinning energy that kind of takes some focus to really utilize and to really harness that energy, to harness it, to not miss it. To not miss it or to not have it be overwhelming. You know, Uranus, that electrical energy, can really fry our nervous systems. It can create a lot of anxiety. It can create, so again, the sleeping and the grounding and the eating, it's like supporting our physical bodies as we're going through these transitions. So one of the things that I often lean into when I feel my body doing a lot of upgrades is B12, a good quality B12, and the Hyland's, the homeopathic sea salts. Like that's, I remember finding these things synchronistically on different forums when I was like really uncomfortable in my body, and it just, I noticed such a huge difference when I started doing those 2 things, and of course staying hydrated. So there's that water message again, but just supporting the body in all those ways. One being really leaning into your soul, but also supporting the body in physical ways. I just felt to bring that up. I actually felt to say that. I was like, oh, am I supposed to say that? Because I thought it right before I came on here about the those specific supplements. Magnesium is another one, just support the heart. If you're having, you know, any of the thymus looping or the heart palpitations, yeah, because there's just a lot going on. And some people that haven't been feeling it, you know, you might not have felt it, because for me it started like almost like a little over 2 years ago. But it's like we're all becoming more sensitive. So you might not have been feeling it before. You might just be starting to feel this stuff now. And also things are getting more intense and just more rolling. Okay, the Magician. Well, Yeah, the magician. Okay, so well, that kind of speaks for itself. I mean, that's kind of the energy that we're talking about, just being the magician of your own life, harnessing your power. The magician has access to all the different elements. Last week, I was really in my fire element with that dragon energy. This week feels more about the water, again, the intuition, but also the electric, the electric with the eel, but harnessing all the different elements, all the different components that come in, and staying in touch with them all, staying in touch with yourself, and making your own choices in terms of what gets in, what stays in, how long it stays in, what, who, where, how, yeah, being the keeper of your own gate, the keeper of the worker of your own template and grid, as guided by your soul, because we're all here doing different pieces, and the only one that can know what's right for you. Sometimes it's interesting with like the Facebook memes, because like I just post stuff that speaks to me for that day, and there's no absolute truth. It's like there's what resonates in that moment, and then the next day or a week later or a year later, the exact opposite truth, the exact opposite of that might be relevant. And it's like people will sometimes like argue about memes, or like, oh wow, it's not that, and it's like, well, it's not anything. It's just whatever resonates in whatever moment, whatever synchronicity is coming up for you in your magical weaving. And sometimes you match up with people, but even that conversation, again, that contrast, nothing is wasted, because then you get to kind of be like, well, we're all in our own worlds, intersecting, sometimes congruently and sometimes not congruently, but again, the perfection and the chaos, all the different elements and how they weave together, like the grand symphony, or the gears of the clock. So okay, so let's move on here. Yeah, these are powerful cards, really powerful cards. So the Wheel of Fortune in this deck is called the Fortune's Fairy, but it's the Wheel of Fortune, and so there it is again, big change. Kind of feels like this, big energy coming in, big mastery coming in, big alchemy, big claiming of your own space, big interference, big contrast, big shakes to get you to claim it even more, to turn that wheel. Sometimes you need to pull back that arrow to get it to fly. Okay, but again, right here in the middle of all this, really really powerful kind of intense energy, intense medicine. Intense energy is this one, real soft and real connected with herself, real connected with her inner channel. So again, it's like your path is your path, and it's not going to look like anybody else's. It might for a while, and then it might change and whatever, but it's just you and you. It's just you and God, you and all that is, you as your unique spark, your unique, your unique version, your unique, this is yours. You blow it and it casts out, and however it does, specific for you. And yeah, this being a time to really really claim our own space, claim our own uniqueness, doing things our own way, and trusting that we are who we are for a reason, and that the world needs us. We might look at somebody else and be like, oh, I don't do it like that, gosh, maybe I shouldn't do anything. And it's like, well, you're not doing it like that because that person's doing it like that. Sometimes people do that, though. They'll just sort of go into the same thing, and everybody kind of copies each other, and it's like our soul spark gets diluted that way, because we're trying to be acceptable, or we're afraid we're going to be rejected, or we're afraid that we might not, maybe something's inherently wrong with me, I can't put myself out there, and just, I feel like this is a time where, again, where it's like just allowing our spirits to speak to us and to guide us in our own way, so that all of, we're all a unique expression of all that is, so to bring all those pieces together so that God can be complete, so that we can see God, the truth, all that is everywhere, instead of regurgitated versions of the same thing. Like the world, the energy, it's like a time when we're really being invited to bring ourselves forward, ourselves forward, our crazy ideas, our strange things that come out of nowhere, Uranus, just the lightning bolt that strikes us, and then just to step forward with it and see what happens, that's kind of the energy I'm feeling from this. Okay. How long did I talk for? 19 minutes. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because I was reading this woman, and she was talking about, she was talking about the Schumann resonance. She always talks about the Schumann resonance, and she was saying that the spikes in the Schumann resonance and the gridding has to do with our galactic families, the galactics and beyond. And, you know, like I said, I don't have a connection really to the Schumann resonance. So if I hear something external like that, it's like I'll take it into consideration. I kind of file it away, but until it sort of presents through synchronicities or in a relationship to it, I don't really, you know, I don't have, yeah, I just don't have the relationship to it. So I can't really, I could just speak about it as, oh, what an interesting idea, you know, but I am, and then the synchronicity of all the spaceship like clouds and lots of people kind of talking about them being ships cloaked or hidden, you know, like you hear, I remember hearing a long time ago, that sometimes the galactics, the ETs will show up as like a bunny. You're like, why is that bunny like just staring at me, you know, and just things like that, you know, just cloaking so they don't scare you, you know, and that kind of thing. But just kind of feeling this galactic support right now. Saturday I was sitting outside. That was the night. Saturday night is when I really started sleeping, and I was sitting outside, and I felt this like really like amazingly supportive energy like coming through in the air all around me. And I was looking out at this certain view, and it was just so symbolic. There were like bars, like the coyote fence that we have, these bars, and then shadows of the bars, and then this real expansive desert view beyond it. And I posted it, I shared it, and one of my friends said like, yeah, there's something special about that. And she's like, it feels like there's something from above. And I was like, that's exactly what I felt, you know, and that was the energy I was in, and she felt it. She felt it through the photo. And so anyway, just feeling like some kind of support. I'm not really sure why I brought that up. It just kind of popped in my head. But so the cards that we get are the Eight of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. So this is actually, yeah, this really captures a lot of what I've been talking about. So the Eight of Wands is that activation energy. You know, this is very much like this. Very much like that electric eel, that Uranus energy, that fast-moving electric energy that comes in, okay? And the Two of Pentacles, you know, look at him. He's kind of juggling, you know. He's trying to find his balance. And so that's sort of, you know, the energy that I was feeling last week, where it's like there's all this kind of higher energy coming in. So maybe that's why I was talking about the sky energy, the galactic energy. You know, again, it's like we don't have a lot of solar energy right now, so it's like, well, what is it? What are we feeling? What is this? What is what's her name? Pam, not Pam. Pat Donaway or something like that. She talks about the solar stuff all the time. She talks about the unmeasurables, like when the solar energy is quiet, the unmeasurables are loud. You know, and again, a lot of us feel that stuff, but whatever it is, a lot coming in. And it has been that way. Like I said, I started feeling it like 2 years ago. Amanda Lawrence was talking about how, I believe it was like right around the time that I started feeling it. She was saying we used to have energies come in, you know, they'd come in and then we'd have a few, maybe it would be like 6 months to integrate. And then as time went on, you know, then it was happening. We'd have like maybe 3 weeks to integrate, or 2 weeks to integrate, or 3 days to integrate. Now it's just constant, you know, it's just constant. And so, you know, we are always being bombarded, but to me, it just feels like there's this whole next level going on, this whole next level. And that we're really trying to stabilize in this, because we are making moves. We are making moves. So yeah, the stabilization, kind of what I was talking about, like supporting our bodies, and also, you know, through extra sleep or extra water or the supplements, or, you know, eating a lot, or whatever it is, whatever your body is calling for. But again, the validation that there really is a lot coming in. I feel like we're going to understand it more soon. I feel like we're going to understand it more soon. Maybe something will come in and we'll be like, oh, okay, you know, this is what it is. But yeah, I almost said I don't know if I'm making sense, but I wasn't going to say that anymore. So cancel, clear that, you know. I'm just going to say what comes out of my mouth and trust. All right, let's see what else comes up. Oh, okay. All right, so the 10, well, let's look at, oh, that's so many cards. Let me just peek at these real quick. No, I'm not going to take all those. That's too much work to decipher. I'm just going to take this one card, the Ten of Cups. This is like my Heaven on Earth card, where you're in the garden, you know, you're living, you know, you've done the work, you've entered in. Here's the lotus that's risen from all the mud that you've you know, that you've sat with, and here's your soul family waiting for you over here, you know, as always intended. And you know, you're walking into this garden, and you know, things are flushing out. So again, you know, all this sort of energy coming in, stabilizing, feeling a little wonky, you know, really needing to focus, you know, a lot of change, you know, a lot of kind of interference and strange things, but just that reminder that like it is ending up in this peace. It is ending up in this. I mean, just look at how peaceful that is. There's like so much clarity there. It's just, you know, and of course we get snippets of that. We get snippets of this peace, but what I'm really feeling in this energy from my own experience, but also from these cards, is just a lot of activation, a lot of activation, a lot of empowerment, a lot of, you know, kind of challenge and claiming and having to step through thresholds that might be uncomfortable, or you know, just being pushed through that edge. And it just feels really intense right now, and it's requiring again a lot of balancing and a lot of leaning in and inner listening. But I feel like this is just kind of like there is a resting point. There is a resting point, and I don't know if this is saying like, oh, we get in the garden and then everything's just heaven on earth. Maybe it is, you know, I don't know, but just feeling this energy as at least a resting point, that there are resting points along the way, that it's not going to be this electric and intense constantly. And again, our bodies, you know, kind of having trouble like handling that much. Again, that much electricity, that much magic, that much higher frequency energy. Okay, supporting the body, but resting. Okay, let's see. Let me pull a goddess card. See what else. I appreciate that resting. I mean, that feels nice just to look at it. There's more water. We have this water here leaning into the soul. You know, this is how we access this peace place as well. Remembering to lean into the soul when things get overwhelmed. Just go within, you know, do whatever you need to do to have that quiet space. Maybe consciously entering into this quiet space by leaning in, the water guiding us, the water. Calm it down. Calm down all that fire. Yeah, like the magician who knows how to balance the elements. He knows how to wield them. He knows how to wield them to keep them in balance, so that we don't burn out, you know, so that we can anchor the energy, that we can compost and utilize everything that's coming at us in a positive way. Yeah. Okay. Okay, okay, so this is a 23 card, another 5 card, another change, communion, Ishtar, communion. Well, I mean, that just kind of reminds me of what I was seeing in here, where it's like, oh, here's your soul family that you were meant to join with at this time. You know, those words came out of my mouth, and there's the communion, you know, just that reminder, which often comes up, that this is a group effort. You know, we're all doing this together. Again, those of us that, you know, are going through these activations and going through these big changes. Again, this is, you know, 2 5s here. Well, this is a change, and then this is a 5. And didn't we get another 23? Oh, I guess not. Oh no, we didn't. Okay, but anyway, two change cards with the 5 and the wheel, which is change. Okay. Going through this change together, also facilitating this change for others, a group effort. Those of us that have this, have had this activation, have had this dragon energy coming through, supporting us, behind us, all this fire. It is a communal effort. So that's really beautiful. Just to have that reminder. We are doing this together. We're stabilizing this together. We're anchoring this energy in our bodies and on the planet. Friendship, yeah, there it is again. Okay, there it is again. And just meeting more like-minded people. That's happening for me. You know, people that have kind of been in town here, you know, kind of on the scenes, you know, kind of in the background, you know, swirling around for a little while, and now meeting in person and kind of landing and bringing our energies together. So bringing, oh, and that's actually this dance. I'm doing another dance, and I'm facilitating it on my own this time. And what I want to do is I want to invite, like just through intention and through being aware of the different potentials, the highest potentials, I want to invite sort of like clearing through dance, not through anything linear or guided, but just, you know, knowing that when we dance, we move energy, we spin the chakras, things clear, they go down into the earth, they get transmuted, we become a vessel, an open channel, we welcome in more of ourselves. You know, we're here in community, and we're anchoring energy, we're anchoring higher energy through our bodies. So again, you know, all the ways that we do that, you know, we do that together with our soul family, whether it's intentional or just an invitation or accidental or not even known. You know, there's just this beautiful movement through different parts of humanity, the people that you resonate with, that you find, solace and comfort and peace in. You guys are doing your piece together, whatever that piece is. Again, like I was saying earlier, we all have our unique piece, and sometimes it matches up with people, and we do a bit together, and we help anchor and move energy and heal and bring on more. And then sometimes the characters change, but knowing that, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. So, okay, I'm going to do 30 minutes. I think this is going to be a little bit of a shorter reading today. So I'll just, yeah, I had a feeling this was going to come up. This is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 decks. This is the only card in all 10 decks of like 50 some whatever cards in every deck that has the galactic. So here's the light beings. So, it kind of like came out of left field for me earlier, talking about that, thinking about the clouds, thinking about that woman with the Schumann resonance in our galactic. So here it is in this reading. And I thought, I'm not going to talk about it unless this card comes out, but I did talk about it, and here they are. So yeah, I really feel, and look at how, they're like honing in on Earth, just the spiral, the same, very similar spiral to the Magician here. Yeah, and again, the friendship, the friendship and the communion. It's like, this is absolutely a group effort, absolutely, and there's energy coming in, like I said, like through the air, through the sky. I felt it, but again, it wasn't like it didn't feel like it wasn't solar. It didn't feel solar to me. It didn't even feel like anything. Okay, so there have been times where, and even in town here, like in the desert, I just have wide open sky. I can see everything, and I see all kinds of like things that aren't stars moving around, and and I'll have these experiences with them, like this telepathy. But I even experienced it in town here, with light pollution. I was sitting on my front porch, and it was the first time it happened, and there was this star, this light, and it was like coming towards me. It was like literally coming towards me and getting brighter, and I was staring at it. But what happened was there was this telepathy where I was being downloaded with these thoughts, and it was like I was like held in this telepathy, and then all of a sudden it broke. It just released, and then the star, like literally, the light literally disappeared. It was nowhere to be seen. So I've had the same experience down in the desert with the open sky, where, and that was kind of the energy that I felt with the sky that day when I was sitting out there, and then the next day when I was looking at that cloud, where it was like there was something to it. There was a presence, there was a communication. Of course, it wasn't at night, and I wasn't like, just in that real liminal space, so I wasn't like aware of what I was receiving, but it was familiar. It reminded me of that. It was a similar thing. So I'm really feeling, and especially because this card was coming up, and what I've been feeling, and what that woman was saying about the Schumann resonance, whether it's true or not, there's something with the galactic energy being really close right now, like almost like too close. I almost feel like it's like almost like too close for comfort, and that's kind of this, where it's like, wow, there's a lot coming in, and wow, it's taken a lot to like stabilize in it, and wow, like my friend said, fervent prayer, because things are really spinning, and just, yeah, something's going on, the wheels turning, the seeds are being blown, and yet, finding those places to rest, and also knowing that they're coming, knowing that there is resting places, that we're not just gonna like burn up, like this, we're not just gonna like burn up, right, and also knowing that we're not holding this energy just all in ourselves, we're holding it together, and I think that's a good thing, and that's kind of how I feel with the dance too. It's like when we hold these frequencies and we anchor them together, there's a lot of power in them, but it's also shared, it's also like, here, can you hold some of this? Because I might be losing it here, I'm not sure, Soul family. Okay, I think I only have one deck left, so we'll let this be our closing card, and then I'll just wrap it up. We actually get 2 cards. Follow your heart, St. Francis. Okay, so that goes with that. Follow your heart, reiteration, yeah, the animals, a lot with the animals. I've been having dreams with animals, real visceral, where I can like feel the feathers, or I can feel the real viscerally the tentacles, or whatever it is, like the animals really seem well. And again, the communion, it's like we're all doing this together. Who do we get? Babaji. Oh, okay, Babaji. Wow, interesting. yoga, Babaji yoga. Yeah, I don't really know how to translate that one. I don't really know how to. That one's not really speaking to me to weave it in, other than, maybe somebody has a relationship to Babaji, and this is just for you. I don't know. Babaji kind of reminds me of my ex, my dark angel. So, yeah, I don't know. For me, maybe it kind of goes with this. Maybe it kind of goes with this energy. But I don't know. I'm just gonna put Babaji back. We'll just put Babaji back over there. I love Babaji. He's great, but we're going to stick with St. Francis and follow your heart, okay? And that similar message that was coming through. Again, staying in that channel to help navigate these times, to help navigate that big electric, galactic, cosmic, portally energy that we're in right now, okay? And again, the message of communion, all of us doing it together, the support that we have, and kind of sharing the load, and knowing that we're not alone in these fiery frequencies. So, yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I brought up Uranus a lot, and Pluto's about to move into Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. So it's like, yeah, that's that higher mind, that higher technology, and the community. Aquarius is a card of community and communion, and working together and building that heaven on earth energy by yeah, okay, I'm getting it, by really bringing forth our unique spark. What is community but everybody being themselves and bringing their unique piece in, and seeing how it perfectly fits together. Just like the magician using all the elements. All that is using all that it is, all that it is, but all it's been intended to be, not how it's been diverted and hijacked. When this kind of stuff comes in and makes you feel like you can't move forward in your life. Your car just won't pick up that speed to get on that highway. Like, you can't go where you want to go. And you might as well not. And you might as well just stay small. And you might as well just not be open to this, and let it rock your and everybody else's worlds through your own God spark, your own unique expression, right? Yeah, not falling for this, but bringing it forward into the Aquarian age. So yeah, Aquarian age message. I think that's what this was. I think it was an Aquarian age message. And aren't Aquarians the most galactic alien-like beings that you know? I have Aquarius Mercury, so, but my daughter's Aquarius, my ex-husband's Aquarius, my sister's Aquarius. I have so many Aquarians in my life, all around me, for all of my life. And just, yeah, really unique, and yeah, leading the way in that, and everything we just talked about. So, all right, thank you for listening. I'm going to refrain from saying, the way I'm going to say, I hope I made sense from now on until I'm fully done with this. I'm going to say, I'm going to not say it, and then I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say, I hope I made sense. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time if I do. Okay, much love.